How's it going, everyone? We're back with another Coffee and Cardboard. Extremely late filming session because of the way this weekend panned out, and exciting stuff. Well, exciting stuff if... There we go. If I had set that up. Tom, do some editing magic if you will.
So, Tyler is about to be sold.
Currently at $190,000, 300, and we thought we'd just catch this moment if there's any
311,211.
That just jumped. That jumped a lot. Ended, and Tyler
Over
Great
300.
Warrior has been sold at a winning bid of $311,000. 211. That's a lot.
There's a lot of scratch.
It's not the record winner. The record winner. It's late and I'm tired, but we do have coffee. I think we're just on Asda's on Gold Blend again because we didn't plan to record just yet.
I mean,
we were like, let's have a coffee, let's wake up a little bit, and then we'll record. We were going to have it was like a Nescafe cold brew, which I guess is next weekend. So cool. Not a lot of news this week, so we're gonna have a bit of a discussion. We're getting Doomfire and Queen reprints for Volcanics. I don't even know how expensive these were.
To be honest, Volcanic Queen might swing back into play, especially if I'm not mistaken, if Volcanics have a generic searcher that they are getting, Queen could be splashed into a lot of modern deck strategies because it is essentially just a kaiju. It tributes any monster to be special summoned. Given how free it is, potentially even how searchable it possibly will be in the future, you might even be able to tech this small engine into a strategy. But Volcanic Queen in general, it should actually see some play amongst the kaijus. I don't know why people. So, yeah. It's just a kaiju, but you cannot normal summon or set this turn.
Okay, so it's a lava golem for one.
Yeah, but you can do as many as you want instead of you can only control one.
Yeah, but you can also lava golem repeatedly.
Yeah, but
it's literally a lava golem for one.
Yeah. But again, like there are obviously drawbacks.
I would say that's probably very fringe application because like Santa Claus is the
but that gives you a free draw. That gives your opponent a free draw.
Yeah, but like for example, Santa Claus is the one that they would play in Pirelli because they can attack into it in defense, make a big Zeus. So we got the Starlight rares confirmed. We have got Guiding Quem, the Virtuous, who saw this coming, probably everyone. Despian, what?
Lulu Willilith. Yeah, again, like it was obviously confirmed that these were going to be taking secret slots. It also makes sense that they were taking Starlight slots. Yeah. The new Firewall Singularity, no surprise. That
I'm completely biased, but that looks very nice.
Obviously, the cover card was going to get a Starlight.
Yep.
But Singularity.
It is nice to see.
Yeah, the Gold Pride Chariot Carrier, and now odd one out is Visa Starfrost, finally taking a Starlight slot. Because it is now also searchable off of the new Manadium field spell. It is also searchable off of that.
I need to reiterate, it is very late.
It is very late.
Yep, and that is going to be some expensive Gold Pride if you have the...
Splashable in anything that can make 2 level 3s, though.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Starlight carries and Chariots.
Yeah, it'll do.
That's some drip. We got the imported cards as well. So, we have got...
Wish Dragon.
Wish Dragon, which...
Tribute this card, special summon 2 dragon tokens. Pretty good. Also, you can out special summon monster from your extra deck. For the rest of this turn, except level 5 or higher dragons. Pretty much drawback. Quite a drawback, but hey, it might see some play somewhere.
You cannot special summon except dragons, did you say?
Level 5 or higher dragon monsters from your extra deck.
Oh, so it locks you out of...
It's synchros, so you're locked into synchros, essentially. Or fusions. You can also make fusions.
Check a quick keyboard shortcut. So we've
got...
Votis. Votis.
Alright, when this card is normal summon, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, and if you do, banish 1 excavated monster to add 1 monster with its same name from your hand to your hand. From either your deck or other excavated cards. Also, shuffle the rest into the deck. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card is in your graveyard because it was sent there this turn, after being normal summon or set, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, and if you do, place them on the top of your deck in any order. Quite a weird backjack style effect, but...
Kind of. That was a lot of words. So...
Adelara, the June Moon.
Of the June Moon.
If you control a face-up card in your spell or trap zone, so Weather Painters I'm thinking, immediately from the artwork, special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon this card once per turn this way. Gain 600 attack and defense for all face-up spell and trap cards on the field. You can send 2 face-up cards from your spell trap card zone. Send 1 level 4 or lower monster from your deck to the grave. Yeah, all that's screaming to me here is Weather Painters. So...
That actually seems like it could have some applications.
Yeah.
Mystical Beast of
New forest card to go with Valathorn. I'm thinking Valathorn.
Oh, I thought you were thinking Kalantosa.
No. So if this card is normal summon, special summon, target 1 beast, warrior, wing beast, or insect, or plant monster in your graveyard. Send 1 monster from your deck to the grave with its same original type. If this card is in its owner's possession, is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can add a beast, warrior, wing beast, insect, or plant monster from your deck to your hand. It was sort of edging towards being busted until it wasn't. Not gonna lie.
It was great until it wasn't.
Yeah.
And
right, this thing looks cool.
Baramet, the sacred sheep shrub.
So, generic, 2 level 4 or 2 or more level 4s. Attach material from this card. Target 1 normal trap in your graveyard. Place it on the bottom of the deck, then draw a card. So, trap recursion.
Yeah.
If a normal trap is activated, except during the damage step, you can attach material from an XYZ monster you control. And if you do, special summon 1 level 4 or 1 level 4 monster from your hand. This can be pretty good, I imagine.
I think that's worth a pickup.
Labyrinth can definitely use that. Reincarnation of the 7th Emperors.
During damage calculation, I'm already less interested.
If your number XZ monster that has a number between 101 and 107 in its name, or your XYZ monster that has such monsters as a material battles, banish that monster you control. Oh, wasn't alright. During the end phase of the turn, you activated this card. Special summon 1 rank 3 or lower XYZ from your extra deck, except a number monster, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack.
Equal to the original attack of the rank 3 or lower?
Yeah.
Okay, so not the...
So, pick Acid Man, inflict 3k.
Okay.
Alright, another 7th Emperor's cards. Tribute all XYZ monsters you control. Oh, I hate the sound of this. Then target 1 of your banished XYZ monsters. Special summon it. And if you do, you can attach your number XYZ monsters that are banished or in your graveyard to it as material. That you have a number between 101 and 107 in the name. Yeah, it is what it is.
They were pack filler and we're just getting them imported.
Alright.
Okay. Wrong button. Right button. Okay. We've got the reference art for Arahimi. And it's just the artwork. That's all we've got.
Alright.
Well, isn't that nice? But it was something that we got. The only text relevance to Arahimi's name is in a fancy colour graphic and in a colour of fabric. Blah, blah, blah. This card's TCG name is confirmed as Arahime the... It's a Makanko card. Okay. Manifested Makanko. And we got the world premieres for Sayak as well.
The Comet General.
So we've got...
It's the pen scale that's worrying me here.
Because it's an 11.
Yeah. If you pendulum summon a monster, place this card on either the top or the bottom of the deck. You can draw this... When you draw this card, you can reveal it. During your main phase of this turn, you can conduct one pendulum summon of a monster or monsters in your hand in addition to your pendulum summon. I quite like this card already.
Double penned?
Not even that, like the scale just makes everything so much easier. It's not searchable for a very good reason, I imagine. Nothing searches it off the top of my head, to be honest. And an extra pen summon, you know, that's crazy.
That's double summon for pens.
Golden Cloud Beast. I have seen this card about somewhere.
Yeah?
If this card is special summon, increase or decrease its level by 1. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. So I think the idea here is...
it's a tuner as well.
Fix it so it can make Barons or Savage Dragons, synchro it off, and then spin a card. So it's basically just like a synchro Mirage Stalio.
Yeah. Straight away I was thinking like Desert Locust and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Imperial Princess Quinquery?
Yeah. Ooh, 2 level 5s, please be good.
2 level 5 generic. You can detach one material from this card and target 1 level 5 monster in either graveyard. Special summon it to either field. If a face-up level 5 monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, while you control this monster, you can add to your hand or special summon 1 level 5 monster from your deck.
All I'm thinking is terrible Cyber Dragon support.
You can only use each effect of Imperial Princess Query once per turn. I am getting really tilted by seeing you can special summon to either side of the field. Stop it. Stop it right now. Bad card design, it keeps causing problems. Pendulum Pendant. Banish 5 face-up pendulum monsters from your extra deck. Place 1 pendulum monster from your deck or face-up in extra deck in your pendulum zone. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Target 1 card in any pendulum zone. Reduce its pendulum scale by 1. You can only activate 1 pendulum pendant per turn. There's too many P's.
It was bad the minute it mentioned 5 face-up in your extra deck.
How did I get here? I love that. Do you want to take this one?
If a monster you control is destroyed by your opponent's attack or card effect, place face-up in your field zone 1 field spell from your deck with a different name than the cards in the field zones. Then revive 5 monsters from... What? Reveal 5 monsters from your deck. Then special summon with different names. That can be special summon with different names from each other. Your opponent randomly picks 1 for you to special summon. Also shuffle the rest into your deck. It seems like pack filler.
Yeah, but it's cool.
And then we have the gold pride cards. Rollerballer, Pinballer, Chariot. That came out of nowhere. Pedal to the metal. Better luck next time. And it's neck and neck.
Which we covered last week. So if you haven't seen it,
check it out.
Do that after you finish watching this. And we're back to Tyler again.
Pretty crazy.
That's a lot of money. So, you'll notice it's been a quiet week for news this week. So, we prepared something else. We're going to talk about the ban list. It's got to be ready for dropping.
We hope.
We hope so much. We have Nats to prepare for.
We have this impression simply because there was a month gap between the YCS and the Nats being announced, and also none of the tickets are actually showing up on Neuron, so there are no available options to submit the deck list or even see whether or not you're registered on the Nats.
Which I'm hoping is connected.
I'm not going to lie, I hope it is connected. to there not being one. Sorry,
Yeah.
there being a ban list in that time.
Yeah, or just like there's a period that it will eventually just show up. But either way, it's making me nervous. But I'm glad you're suffering as well,
Oh, yeah.
because that means it's not just my account.
You're not the only one in the boat.
Yeah. So anyway, right, I suppose elephant in the room is Kashtira. Like, logically, this is not a wish list. Let's
This is more of a discussion and then probably concluding whether or not what would be the best course of action going forward. So, my personal experience from playing Kashtira, Unicorn is a one-card starter. It gives you either Shangaira and Arise Heart or Shangaira on Diablosis on its own. It is a crazy card, and there are literally no restrictions other than the fact that you have to control no monsters to start your plays in the first place.
That being said, can't see it banned.
I
can see it limited.
If it gets limited, there are plenty of ways to still search it, but then again, if they get rid of it, it is one of the main pieces that gets you to the Theosis, the Birth. It gives you all of the really good spell extenders that allow the deck to be really consistent.
Yep. Fenrir, I'm just going to say it, I know it's an amazing consistency card for them. I just want them to leave it alone. It feels like we've got Pank, but not ridiculous.
At least,
it's nice.
It gives decks something free for a while, but then again, Pank is limited, so as I say, Fenrir just might end up being one of those cards that gets limited.
Fenrir makes no sense as soon as it's limited, it's not a Pank for other decks.
Yeah, but you can still side it going second. It just becomes Pank.
Yeah, but like,
Pank
is better.
It's in that bracket of Alpha the Master of Beasts and, Pank, and then this card. They both are really good going second staple cards.
I think this is way more respondable.
But the more important thing to note here is that Fenrir searches any Kashtira monster. So the reason this card will be getting limited in the first place isn't a bad one, because if you have Birth paired with this, Unicorn gives you the full combo, because you can normal Unicorn with no cost, because that's Birth's effect. If you have Unicorn and you Theosis the Fenrir, then you get Rice Heart or any extender that you wish, like the Scareclaw or the Kashtira, Tyrallaman monster. So not only does it search Fenrir for itself, like if you were teching it as a side up, as a tech option, but the reason this card will be getting limited is not because of that. It will be getting limited because it is still one of the best Kashtira cards, and limiting it will solve a lot of the problems.
I agree. I'm just kind of saying I would much prefer for them to address it in a way that doesn't take Fenrir out of the game.
Yeah.
I think it does an awful lot for decks that aren't its own, and it feels like a fair Pank. Because, again, this Pank is grim. As soon as it hits the field,
it can break a board.
It can break a board on its own. This is very respondable because it banishes on res.
Yeah, it's on resolution. Again, you might even be forced to go into the battle phase to proc its effect.
Yeah.
But it's nice against the negate boards, the insulation that you'll give yourself.
Yeah, it even sounds like it's kind of a negligible difference, but it is day and night. Like, people kind of say it's the new Pank. It's not Pank. Even though its removal is objectively better, just the fact that it's on resolution, it's a big deal. Race Off, I cannot see it being touched. I can't see him hitting the planets.
It would be a nice little under the rug sort of option to be limited, because again, it searches any Kashtira monster you want, and it also gives you a pop if you trigger, Shangaira. So the card basically allows your deck to be 36 cards with the terraforming.
Essentially.
So if you limited this,
that is a common theme on all of the planets. They didn't touch Perolino either.
No, they didn't touch Perolino. It's not likely they're going to hit this card, but as I say, if they limited it, we're not going to be shocked because they're going to hit one of the consistency cards. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I just do not see this one because it still needs to be in a playable state. You can't just absolutely gut the deck immediately. I mean, Tier didn't even get that treatment, and that was Tier 0 deck.
And then we have Birth. This card is silly, like stupid, because not only do Cashteras not need their normal summon in most circumstances, just being able to be allowed to normal summon one in addition to your combo makes all your boards that much more oppressive by giving you an extra rank, gives you an extra like play. You can keep a Fenrir on board or a Unicorn. And then, on top of that, special summoning any Kashtira monster that isn't an XZ that is in your banished to your grave. Again, silly extension. So this card, I am not going to be shocked if they limited this or even banned it, like, in order to completely hinder the strategy in its tracks into more of a control.
Compress it.
Yeah, this card is silly.
So I think it's a foregone conclusion that Kashtira is getting hit. The way that I really want to see it addressed, personally, is through
Mind Hacker.
Yeah, it's so obnoxious. It's incredibly obnoxious. It completely messes with deck building for the extra deck, because then suddenly you've got to start running doubles of key cards. It completely messes with building of normal decks. Suddenly you can't run mesh one-offs, because if they go proactive and aggressive with this, it's like being forced to activate desires without the benefit. It assists with locking zones. They can't get the full zone lock set up with this. This feels like the key of like the degeneracy to the deck. Absolutely love the card, by the way. Hate what it does.
But then again, my personal opinion, if I may, so you have a really bad predicament here. Your problem. Oh,
this is why I don't let you drive.
So we have a Rise Heart. Now, this is macro on legs. Now, we have the Colossus argument here. This card is a Floodgate with a quick effect to banish any card face down. Now, the reason Mind Hacker and a Rise Heart are ridiculously broken at the minute, in my opinion, is the thing that locks all the zones as a result. If Mind Hacker is just occasionally banishing a card on top of the 3 you get off the Rise, granted, it's not ideal. But with Shang-Ira being the problem of locking zones and also giving you constant summons in the standby phase of the Kashtira monsters, if you're forced to limit yourself to the Arise Heart or Arise Heart and Mind Hacker, then obviously the strategy becomes a lot more fragile and becomes a lot more control-based. But again, most people are calling for the Mind Hacker, but I think the reason Mind Hacker is crazy at the minute is the card that is doing the damage when Mind Hacker gets activated. So in my personal opinion, I think they should just ban Shang-Ira, get it over with until it's a Rise Heart control.
So, I'm not necessarily disagreeing. I just think at this point in the deck's lifespan, I can't see them absolutely not going after a Rise Heart. It's very bannable. I don't see them doing it. It's too soon in the deck's lifespan. Shang-Ira, pretty borderline on that. Limiting it to 1, I can see.
You only need 1.
Yeah, I know, but if you double Shang-Ira, then you can get that really obnoxious 9 zone lock.
Well, then we go back to Mind Hacker.
Yeah, which I would say Mind Hacker cuts that dead anyway and puts you in a more controlling situation. I think it's one of two, and the old card is probably the one that bites it. Personal opinion. As for what's correct, I don't know. They're all very, very ban list worthy. It's a really strong deck.
Right.
Right. This is where I'll get salty.
I'm salty.
I hate this engine. I hate this engine so much. I know a lot of people love it as well. Basically, how do you balance this so it's not unplayable, but it's not just a splash in everything, and that there's some fragility to it?
So the argument with limiting fountains. So if you cosmic it, then
they lose.
It's not even the fact that they lose; they're no longer available to recur the resources. They still have tips which searches them, and they're then no longer allowing to play the runic cards from hand.
Yeah.
But keeping it at a 1, you still got your Hugin that can search the card, and you've still got Terraforming which grabs it. Like, as I say, and if you're even playing Dogmatica with this card...
do you not need Fountain on the field for them to be quick plays from hand?
Yeah, that's what I mean. You take that away, so they have to set them. But if you pair that engine then with something like Dogmatica, or you making it more control-based, where you're also using your extra deck, it's not like you're getting rid of the Fountain forever. You can put the Fountain back. There are ways around playing it at, like, 1. Like, it just becomes a lot more skill-based rather than just having a free draw 3 that acts as a smoke and mirrors when you're pairing it with tons of other engines like Naturia, Sprite, Live Twin.
Plunder
like
now.
Again, like you want your opponent to start hitting Fountain, and I don't think it is fair that you can use it as a smoke and mirrors engine that pluses you and mills your opponent's deck as much as it does. It needs to be addressed.
So it really reminds me of when Eldritch was playing full synchro engines and going, oh, you messed up my synchro play. Anyway, I'm going to set a bunch and just play Eldritch, which is also meta. There's too much cake and eating it going on with these. So I don't know how to balance this.
I would go with Limit Fountain.
There's Limit Fountain, there's Limit Tip.
But there is another option, which, like, I know it seems harsh, but if you ban Hugin, you've still got your 3 Fountain.
Yeah.
You've still got a Terraforming to search it. Your 3 Tip grabs it. Like, it's not like you're making it more inconsistent. Like, it is going to be more inconsistent, but it's not like it's still not consistent. It's ridiculously consistent still, because you still have 7 to 8 copies of the card.
See, I almost want to say that might be a little bit too light.
Yeah, ban Hugin, I think, would be a nice way to address it, but I personally think limiting the Fountain will be the course of action that happens. And now we have Sprite as an engine.
It's really good. It's just really good.
It's just been played in a lot of things. Again, with this smoke and mirrors, where
literally, we've like seen Sprite,
Live Twin, Runic. Like,
come on,
condensed into 40 cards as well.
Yeah.
And I swear there was even a couple of hand traps and a nimble package in that. Like, honestly, with the smoke and mirrors, you just like, I want you to hit this engine. Okay, you've hit this engine. I'm just gonna play this deck instead. It's not a good way to be playing in a format.
Like, literally, you can be sat there with an Ash like, what do I Ash?
Like an Ash, you'd be like, all right, if I drop the Ash Blossom, that should at least take care of a potential 2 interruptions out of 4. And with a decent deck strategy, you'll still end on 1 to 2 interruptions with maybe even an interaction that you can gain access to in their turn. But if you've got an Ash and it is completely pointless and you're still staring 4 or 5 interruptions down after your opponent's done with it, it just doesn't seem at all fair. It's ridiculous how splashable everything is.
Yeah.
The way to address this, I've seen a few suggestions. So the most common one I've seen is semi-limiting the starter and limiting both Jet and Blue. The problem we have here is that it's still the splashable engine it is.
Yeah, Gigantic feels like a massive part of that. You can hit the consistency of these all you want.
But to be honest, the card that says have access to any level 2 from your deck, which gains access to any engine you please, like you want, like if you take this away, I know it seems harsh, but honestly, this is the thing that is allowing the strategy to be splashed as much as it is.
Yeah.
I think banning Gigantic Sprite with the elf, that will finally take care of the problem that we're having with it. And you can still leave the Sprite as a generic little level 2 engine where you have access to smashes, double cross, maybe a negate from Carrot and Red. Like, it's definitely still going to be strong. It's just I don't want to be seeing 4 or 5 different engines abusing the Sprite engine. So where like one engine gets hit, it's like, okay, never mind, I'll just still do, everything I want to do.
Yeah.
And then we've seen a few people mention Math Mech.
Which right now, in the state of the game, I can't really disagree more.
But it doesn't make sense because it's not done like a lot recently, especially with the Kashtira format. A lot of players shied away from playing this deck because of the fear of a Rise Heart. But given that the deck has,
Me included.
yeah, the deck has a total of what, let's say 12 really strong starters. So you've got Small World, Signet Mining, Circular.
The problem that I find with the deck, and this is, I play it a lot, really enjoy it. There's two big issues that make it feel very unfair. One, you don't know where your interruptions are gonna stop it. Like, where do you hit? Do you hit the circular? Do you hit the Allen version? If you hit both, are they just gonna go, well, that kind of sucks. Guess I'm just gonna extend, and then extend some more, and then get everything I was gonna get anyway. Because like it's Cyberse, right? It's got a critical mass of extenders. The entire theme seems to be extenders.
Yeah.
So I get kind of like old school Dragon Link vibes, especially after the new support hits, which is probably a different story. Like, I might have a different opinion next list and might be like, oh, okay, this is getting silly. The other problem, I think the diversity of the end board is really difficult to deal with. Like, it doesn't excel, it's not a blowout. But having a revolt that goes into a Trishula that's also a negate, like...
And then you've got, it's a mixture of your back row interruptions and the monster interruptions. When really, like, a lot of players won't know what to hit, won't know what to side. It's very difficult to prepare for, especially if you're going second. Like, the deck is quite hard to play against. But in terms of what it's putting out, it doesn't really compare to, like, the more oppressive. Usually, when you think combo deck, you think 2 negates, a pop, and a floodgate. Like, it doesn't have that. It's got a Trishula, which also has a hand rip, and an occasional, like, because some people won't be playing the same strategy, an occasional counter trap that banishes a card, and you can't activate it until the end of the next turn. And then you've also got the negate that comes from the new firewall, the critical mass of hand traps that are going into it. So yeah, like, the amount of triggers you're gonna get with this deck, it's very interesting to say the least.
Yeah, so I would personally say leave it alone for now. It's not done enough, but I am so biased. I think my attitude might change when we roll around to the next list.
It's going to be the mirrors that make your mind up, I think.
I've already played against it a bunch, and like, this is another thing. People's deck building with this is weird. No one seems to play it. It doesn't seem set in stone. I play it really weird. A lot of people pivot into like Appaloosa on your opponent's turn, but going through different avenues than I would use. They use the what are the link ones called? Disciple and Devotee.
Yeah.
That seems to be a very popular way of doing it. Other people use the synchros, which I just absolutely can't stand. And it can pivot on a dime and OTK you. I think that's a big feels bad. Like, literally on stream, prior to recording to this, I had myself insulated at every single point. I put a Linger Rebo up when the only trigger was back row, then made a negate, dropped an Exceed, and then... I don't even think I made a negate. I might have done. Either way, access code Talker is so much stronger at home. Well, I think that's kind of cool because, like, you have to play, like, your cyber strategy to do that. It's not something everyone can do. It's not on the card's text to double attack.
Well, the reason I put mining up here is simply not because I want mining to be hit. It's just, I think if they are going to touch Mathmet, they're going to hit a card that doesn't like directly it's not going to be a mathmech card. It'll be a card that they use, like Signet Mining or even Microcoder, Parallel Exceed.
No one's playing Coda. Exceed is a really powerful
Like if they
consistency
limited
tool.
Exceed, it's not even a matter of whether or not they're playing it. It's just they'll hit something. If they will hit this strategy early, it'll be a card that can be literally excused as being hit for anything.
Small World.
Yeah, Small World possibly. We need to get off of that. Cyberstein. Card should never have come off the list. I was searching it in 2018 to special summon Exterio, accompanied with Christia, Appaloosa, Colossus, UCT. Yeah, you name it, I had it. This card should never have come off. It's going to enable so many problems with the super heavies. I think simply because you can just add Exterio to any board you wish, and they don't even use the normal summon, so this card shouldn't just be the normal summon. And if you think 5k is a cost, they're not going to get near you, so it's just laughable. So we'll just nip that in the bud by saying this card just should get banned. It shouldn't be about anymore.
Which, you know, is big to hear you say, because you were the I will make Exterio go in any deck guy.
Yeah.
But yeah. Right, Branded lost. I think this was my pick. I think Branded is in a weird situation, if I can drive. So they are just getting a fusion card that is Expulsion.
On legs.
On legs. So, Branded lost is like a must negate, depending how you're interacting with them. In fact, no, I think it's just a must negate, because you cannot respond. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when a monster is fusion summoned this way. Yeah, lost is what shuts down all your interaction in that kind of like fusion window.
It's more so that Expulsion's probably going to be argued as being not even possibly even played, because they're going to have access to this fusion on legs that does it. And the silly thing about that as well is you have these interesting monsters that they can give you. So there's Nightmare, which...
So, like, this is the thing. People are like, ban the Nightmare. Okay, they are going to give you Orthos. Well, why don't we ban Orthos as well? They're gonna give you Edo, Magical Force. Yeah. And if they don't give you Edo, they're gonna give you Ra's Disciple. And if they don't give you Ra's Disciple, there'll be something
yeah,
else.
There'll be another thing.
So honestly, it's in a situation where, like, where I was saying earlier, this just tilts me now. It's not text that should be on cards. It's like a Union Carrier situation where you're just like, this is dumb, stop it. I mean, I enjoyed Union Carrier and that was fun, but, like, you know, like, just stuff that objectively is bad for the game to have on cards. You have restrictive stuff for reasons, and they need to be there if you... they need to have that option in card design to say, if you're going to do this, you're archetype locking yourself because it's pretty strong. But if you're just chucking that on your opponent's side of the field...
Well, given that Branded have got new support, they're in a tricky position. You can't really hit anything because they're getting a load of support. Expulsion, I'm going to argue, is going to be completely void from decks in the future because of this new fusion, which they can literally just fusion in your turn. Yeah. So really, the only card that makes any real sense to hit would either be the Albaz itself, the Lost. Jester would be absolutely no point because of opening. So, like, if you're gonna hit one of the pieces,
I feel like it's got to be Lost.
Like, Lost just seems to be the one that makes sense, but I don't think it's gonna actually do anything to how consistent the deck's gonna be. It just changes the way you can interact with the cards.
Yeah.
But that's really it for Branded. So then we have Ibley.
Rest in piss, you floodgate, you bitch. It's been a problem before. It's not actually doing anything right now, but that's just because it's not the flavour of the week. It's a really weird situation where it's like people put it in the decks and then people side for it, and then
it's just
people
like
stop siding for it because it's not in the decks. And now it's probably a really good meta call to stick this in your deck, and then Ibley lock some people because they're not going to be not siding, building.
And just locking your opponent out of the game just in general, not a fan of it.
No.
And given that this card is a lot freer than the cards that usually lock you out of the game, it needs to be addressed.
Yeah. Also, look at that level. Look at that level. Isn't that nice?
All right, so this one, I am going to say this now. This makes me sad to even talk about this card. So, for any decent rogue strategy, this card allows that strategy to be played a lot more consistently, allows you to get those pieces that you're missing, those 2-card combos. It honestly allows a lot of players to play their favourite decks a lot better. But what you also have...
Ninja's dead without this.
What you also have to take with a pinch of salt is that if rogue decks are playing this, and it makes them so much better, then how much better is it making the meta decks? How much better is it making the decks that are actually making an impact in the format? So if we're going to talk about this card, it is the most broken one. You can do damage before you activate it. You can cherry pick what cards you banish. It goes 6 deep, so you can look at a brand new hand and grab that missing piece you fancy. Honestly, it is the best pot card after
After greed.
Yeah, after greed. And so honestly, putting this card to 1 or even 2, it only makes sense going forward.
I hate that. Just a little bit of an opinion on this. Even following Desires, where that ended up, I like my pots at 3 or none. If it's that bad, get rid of it. It frustrates me.
Right, we have a card that negates all face-up monsters on the field. So my opinion is that this card, it basically brings you back to 2005 or 6. Basically, who's got the bigger boss monster? I love this concept. I do not have a problem with this card because it does catch out a lot of the decks that are causing problems, that are complete face-up on the field. You know, all the negates that are being put on the field, all the floodgates are being put on the field, like, they're going to get checked by cards like this. And I think, personally, this is a necessary evil, but in the long run,
I disagree.
in the long run, it negates all face-up monster effects, and I disagree with locking your opponent out of the game. I'd be a hypocrite to advocate this card to stay at 3, so I am going to say for now, put it back to 1.
Yep. I agree. It's one of those where it's not converting right now. But even when it's not converting, it's a pain in the ass. Like, it's absolutely no fun. Go on.
This is a weird one. A lot of people have been talking about this card. I think this is a very necessary evil, simply because it can be negated, it can be responded to, but it is a ton more impactful. It will lose you the game. At least with Ruler, Droplet, there are sticklers about that you still have to deal with, and they come, they're
You
live
can
again.
respond to Ruler.
I mean,
Just got to counter trap it.
yeah. So honestly, this card in general, I don't think it's going anywhere. Very necessary evil, but again, with the effect being a lot more impactful, it still can be classified as a bit of an issue.
This is the other thing. Like, people are like, Evenly is a staple right now. Maybe it should be looked at for the list. Like, staples float in and out. Like, we've just come from formats where Droll is a dead card, and now Droll is coming into a format. So, you know what? Because Droll has been played in every deck, do we ban it? Like, when we next cycle away from Evenly and it's a Dark Ruler format, do we just ban Dark Ruler? Because it performed in that format.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work.
Now, this is the prosperity argument all over again. It allows rogue decks to play through the hand traps that diffuse their one-lined plays. But what you have to ask yourself again is, if it's that good for the rogue decks, what is it insulating for the meta decks? And so this card, being the sacky one of it is, deserves to take no games in general. And as the Maxi argument, it's none or 3. So I don't care for this card being at 1 anymore. I hate how sacky it is. Again, when it's activated, it will usually be the cause of winning the game. Through just drawing it. It's either you play crossouts and the hand traps, the bricky deck, in order to insulate yourself that way. Call by the Grave is 2/3, and it'll drop Cross out of favour immediately, unless you're afraid of Nibiru, in which case you go back to Cross out. But again, it's either none or 3 with this card, and I'm going to say none if you're not going to put it at 3.
I'd like to see 3, but I just seem to be a sadist.
But again, like with the meta decks, if you Ash Blossom at a decent choke point, they should stay down.
No, I get it. I just have fond memories of like Crusadia OTK, which died as soon as this got hit.
Yeah, so...
But yeah, no, I see it. You're valid. You're absolutely right with that. I'd say ban it, but...
A bit like Exterio, negate all spell. It's Imperial Order on legs. Naturia making this alongside the Runic strategy. It just seems to be a little bit of a silly card. I don't think this card's going anywhere.
Neither do I.
Because the minute they check Runic, this card falls out of favour, and then Naturia can actually become an okay rogue strategy.
And stand on its own feet.
So yeah. I don't think there's any more to say about this card. So we're going to the cards that are already on the list and our opinions about them.
Give heart back. That's the end of that.
It literally does nothing. Just if you have one copy of it, they're still as fragile as they'll always be. It's just which one do you hit? Take your pick. Which you'd go back to hitting Harp Horror because it's the last step. Blaster. There's been talk about this card coming back. It is the least oppressive after Tempest.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's a pop card. It gives
little boon to Salad?
Yeah, a little bit, and then as I say, I quite like Blaster. This card, sadly, unless Corridor gets an errata, or this gets an errata, which to be honest, if this just got an errata that said
Thunder
Dragon monster,
I would actually probably be okay with that. Like, this is the thing. We've been talking about this for so long because you miss your boy, don't you?
I miss my boy. If you just errated this card to say the Thunder Dragon card effects and the Thunder Dragon monster, it would be specific to Thunder Dragons and it would be fine. However, Sprite exists.
It'd still be splashable, but it wouldn't be like, let's turn sprites into Colossus. Let's just stick Corridor in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Go, but we have differing opinions.
I just don't think this particular tuner should be back. I mean, you have Steven the Cloak, which, again, I also disapproved of it ever coming back. But since Blackwing got a ton of support, it only made sense. This tuner, I'm not even going to say it's the worst one. It's definitely up there with one of the best tuners in the game. It just allows a ton of extension. I just don't think it is going anywhere, and the only reason they have to bring this one back is the nostalgia from the 5Ds era to pair with the tuning support and the synchron support that is coming out soon.
I think it's fine now that Hulk isn't.
Although, yeah, they can slowly start bringing these tuners back because Hulk has been addressed.
Electrum. So, Pendulum have been getting love every list.
Except, so again, like
this is
it's the Infernity argument. They're not going to bring Launcher and Archfiend back. They're just going to bring cards that resemble this card back.
Well, they got Beyond the Pendulum, which seems to be
it is it's like, all right. So I'll nutshell this card. Take any Pendulum monster that you want and add it to your hand. So shape your scales so that the numbers you want, and you can summon whatever you want. Destroy one of your scales that you don't care for anymore because you burnt its effect. Draw a card in its replacement and add back the card that you initially wanted. And you can't use the draw effect again, but you can also use the Foolish Burial effect where you add any pendulum you want as many times as you please. This card is Pot of Greed on steroids, like for pendulums. I don't think this card should come back, but again, it would give pendulums that tier 2 like sort of status that they should have in every format near enough.
Electrum, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of love to be getting to it. Pend is in like the roughest spot ever as long as Cash Tier exists in any semi-relevant way, because you just go, I'll lock one of those zones, one of those 2 back rows at either side, and then that's an FTK.
Yeah, it's not justification to bring back the boss monster though.
No,
just because our
No,
deck can fuck, this strategy up.
I agree. I think if they did bring this back, which I can't see because they got beyond the pendulum, they need to pump the brakes on it a lot in general with like the just have this back. Like it'd have to be a.
It does also say 2 pendulum monsters. I mean, Valence literally are an archetype that are seeing play constantly. I don't think you can bring this card back.
Maybe not yet. I don't think it's a forever list item though.
No, it's not, but not for another good couple of years.
No, it just doesn't scream like Agripane to me or something like that, where it's just like
it's not even in the same league as Agripane. Ronin Toadin, as long as Substoad is around, this card can only ever be at 1 as an experiment. It honestly, given that this card is now banned in exchange for Substoad, and if they don't address Sprite, there's no way this card can come off the list. So, I again, like, people are talking about this card, so we've got to bring it out.
Gazelle, have it. Just have it.
Yeah,
fine.
Salad just need to be about.
Just give us toss back. Errata this. Bring it back to 1. Give us toss back. It's fine. We can have a nice little pocket of toss.
No,
that sounds wrong.
But yeah.
I mean, like Salad, Sky Striker, Orcust. A Sky Striker is.
To be honest, Salad are getting some love in the new Volcanic set. So I think if they're going to bring this back to 3, it'll either be next list or this list. So yeah, I could see this coming back.
Let con Salad.
Yeah.
No, everyone wants it. No,
just no.
No,
too good.
Just it along with what's it called? No. There's a Synchron coming out.
Axel.
No, that's not a Synchron. That's the Stardust Dragon.
There is a new Synchron called Axel Synchron coming out.
It's not Axel. God damn it. I am sure it's not. That is not a new Synchron. That is a very old Synchron.
I know which one you're on about, the monster, the new effect monster.
Yeah, it's Assault Synchron.
Ah, we are.
There we go. Got there in the end. Assault Synchron with this and the Axel Synchron Stardust. That just keeps tier alive, and to a degree that you kind of don't want because it goes to a top deck.
It's too good. End of story.
Punk. Everything gets to abuse it. It's great. I would love to play Chaos with this again. But it's a bit good. Fluffire.
I mean, you had your monkey board. You're not getting both. That's the way it will end up being.
They keep giving them stuff. And they're running out of stuff to give them.
So they'll just stop.
And then it just fades into irrelevance again.
Yeah, so honestly, Fire ain't going anywhere.
I can see them continuing the trend of throwing Pendabone. It's still not in a decent spot. It's not where it needs to be.
It's more so you don't want things running about.
Well, yeah. Like, I know Pend is kind of like the design flaw of an entire thing.
Brilliant Fusion is now only relevant to Gem Knight. It's like, yes, it's still a 1-card FTK. Like, it doesn't change what it is. You just can't bring it back.
They either need that or they need some solid, real support printing, which...
To be honest, they're working their way around. They have just got a new archetype.
Yeah, they get new archetypes that do not convert regularly.
Again, Kieran, it's another one with... I'm not saying it's in the same league as Fire. It's just going to be left alone where it is. It will never leave until, it is completely irrelevant.
I'm just going to call you out and say you've got a bias towards Pend. So they just get nothing.
I mean, I tell you what, if Kieran and Fire come off this list...
No, that's not happening.
I will eat an ice cream anchovy sandwich. Like, if both of them come off
next list. If any of them come off, any Pend card, changes its position on the list, ice cream and anchovy sandwich, and that's a video.
All right, fair enough.
Damn right.
All right, Dust Shoot. I personally
I
like this card,
think it can go to 1. We've got a pointer.
which is also at 1.
Objectively better.
I mean, no, you get the card back.
Yeah, you get the card back, but it gets banished, and there isn't the condition of having 4 or more cards in your hand.
But it has one use. Get rid of the Ash Blossom that's going to hurt you, or the Board Breaker that's going to kill you.
Yeah, but you can potentially, like...
There are 2 arguments to both a pointer and Dust Shoot. Dust Shoot's very specific, however, gets rid of the card. A pointer costs life points, quite a chunky amount, might I add. Picks any card instead of a monster card, but you also get that card back. Having 2 cards, but again, if they're both one-offs, they can't be trap-tricked. Again, it's just...
They can be thrusted, though.
They can be thrusted, but
Which is where I think a pointer is slightly more relevant as well. I think it's fine. I think we're disagreeing about agreeing.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think at 1...
It'll be alright.
Be alright. There's also, like, the moments where you go in first and you open it and you're a bit sacky. Which sucks. That's kind of... But, like, by and large, most games, it's not even, like... I don't think it's going to completely decide.
Oh, that card is capable of winning games on its own.
I know it is.
That's the problem you have.
Yeah.
The next card, there's only one argument.
It's the same argument, and we keep having it.
It's
No
like
one's doing anything with Wind Up Hunter. They will do stuff with this.
It's like, take Hunter, give us Zen Mighty, but then they go, but one of the problems is on the list, so there's no real reason for us to take Hunter back. So honestly, I don't think it's going anywhere. But this card genuinely does need to be swapped out.
It's just such a community want, and it has been for so long.
I mean, it's not going to make a difference. But either way, that's really all there is to say on Zen Mighty.
Yeah, I mean, it does make... I mean, do you mean the community wanting it doesn't make a difference?
Whether it comes back or not, or whether they swap it around, it won't make any difference, really.
I think a lot more people would pick up Wind Up if Zen Mighty was in it.
Barrage. So the argument to this...
This was weird, because straight away we looked at it on the list and we were like, nah, wait.
Yeah, so Broadbill Trident, a banned, Raptier is also limited. Why is Barrage banned when they have literally taken care of massacring the Zodiac strategy? Like, this card should not even be on the ban list. Like, why? Other than giving Tri-Brigade an unnecessary boost. I
mean, it's not even...
And then Lyrilusk, not Lyrilusk, Lunalight. Well, I guess Lyrilusk as well. So, the minute you pair a consistent Zodiac strategy to the Lyrilusk, the Tri-Brigades, or the Lunalights, it makes a decent, okay, maybe roguish strategy. But at the same time, it's not nearly... It's still not enough to make it broken, and since you've massacred the strategy, I don't see why this card can't at least be at 1 instead of, you know.
I mean, I guess the argument is like just an immediate Zeus, but I've been saying this since the ban list where it happened. Don't understand why Dryden was banned. Everyone's like, oh no, the quick effect pop. I'm like, I would rather not be getting attacked directly by Borbo and a giant Zeus being made. I don't get it. I still don't get it. I didn't get it at the time. I don't get it now. So I guess this could just enable a big ass Zeus. But you know what?
Zeus is still unfair.
Any 2 level 4s do that.
Yeah, but...
They're not hard to access either.
Yeah, but having multiple triggers on Zeus.
3 or non-people.
Like, what? Why is this card at 2?
What was it? A Sword Soul hit? When?
You're just Sully because, you know, Grand Magic.
Totaled Gren, yeah, but it's still stupid. Pots. It's not badly designed. It's fine. How is this at 2? Prospy's at 3.
Extravagance is at 3. It's like, yeah, pick a lane. It's not, you know, you shouldn't be semi-limited. End of story.
It is no better at 2 than 3. And, like, the other thing is that it's genuinely the desires bricking slightly when you're going on deep draw strategies with big deck thinning, like if you're doing Danger Gren or anything like that. You're gonna run into the second desires. It kind of checks itself a little in those, and the rest you're just firing off on desires for a +2. Okay, I don't get it at all, and it functionally FTKs yourself in this format anyway.
Yeah, mine hacker problems. Anyway,
And
then the last one.
Why is it at 2? I get Mali at 2, kind of.
I mean, this card isn't a once per turn, and with the new Lurelus support,
Don't even care.
you can easily make 3.
So,
What do you mean, so? Like, I know Lurelus isn't being played with, but there'll be something silly about. But either way, I don't disagree with this card being put to 3. It's just the next step. It's at 2. Like, it's not doing anything now with the Tri Brigades.
yeah, it's okay. So it's extra deck as well. So, like, just pivoting back to that argument, if it's a problem, then put it to 1. If it's not a problem, let it off the list. Like, literally,
Maybe.
Mali is the only one where I'm like, it's a bit of a problem.
Mali's silly, bad.
Well, you've already got Denier anyway, so you've got 3 Mali anyway.
Yeah, imagine
So,
that with a third Mali.
Yeah, so I get it with Mali, but this, like, it's either a problem because it's not a once per turn, or it's not. Pick one.
Right.
So, yeah, I just hate the semi-limit list. It's dumb. It's the Mali list. It's the Mali holding spot. So, yeah, that's been our, like, way more intense discussion about the ban list than I expected.
If you made it this long, then thanks.
Yeah, we just ended up ranting. We both really want a list, and there's Yu-Gi-Oh's in a dumb state right now in a weird way. It's all super wide, and like it feels like we've overcompensated and ended up going from a tier 0 format straight into the most diverse format I've ever seen. But there's still so much toxic crap running rampant. So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, that's been Coffee and Cardboard this week. Hopefully we'll have some more news next week. We'll have a bit more of a format on the go. We once again have been drinking Nescafé Gold Blend. It's not Nescafé, it's Asda's own Gold Blend. We were going to drink Nescafé Caramel Iced Latte next week, and we'll tell you what we think of that. As for the Nescafé, much like last week, it's a staple. It's pretty great. It's what you do when you just need to put some pep in your step at 3 in the goddamn morning. Wow, I need sleep. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, hit the bell icon. Watch our other videos, watch our streams, watch the shorts. I keep opening blind bags. I'm millennial. What are you doing?
What am I doing?
Yeah,
Getting by.
he is. He is getting by with a little help from his friends. Right, namaste fuckers. We'll see you next time. I need to sign off Coffee and Cardboard, bro. We'll work it out.
In a bit. In a bit.
That's Moz.